and climbs, we bring you every line. From dirt to asphalt, lights go green. Battle hard, chase the dream. Every lap, every turn. Feel that engine burn. The views and opinions shared on this program belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of our sponsors, affiliates, or broadcast partners. All right, race fans, let's rev it up!
You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
All right, y'all, we are live again on another hump day edition of everybody's favorite racing talk show. This is indeed the Revved Up Sports Show. Showtime Bobby Chappie right here, Texas bound and chained down in the heat. And then you've got the Rodney R, as it says, live from the Hampton Inn in Indy. Been an interesting couple of weeks for you, man. You homesick yet?
Yeah, man, it didn't take very long for that to happen. I miss my kids. I miss my dogs, for crying out loud. I was talking to somebody here in the hotel, the palatial confines of the Hampton Inn right here, just outside of Speedway. And I was telling somebody, I said, "Oh, I miss my kids, my little kids." And they said, "Oh, you have young ones?" I'm like, "No, they're not very young at all." And I was like, "It's my dogs. I miss my dogs," for crying out loud. But, it's quite the place, Bobby. You've been here, just as I had before I came here, but to experience an actual race day in Indianapolis. I know it's not the 500, but to actually see the place with people in it, and I know they say only 70,000, but still, man, it is something. It is something to see. It is something to see, my friend.
That is exactly why it still needs to stay on the schedule. That is exactly why it's called a crown jewel. Some people, your old timers, still disagree, but I'm telling you, it's Indianapolis. It's going to be the crown jewel. Ask anybody of the Cup drivers, the NASCAR drivers, there's one there, and they'll tell you it's a crown jewel for damn sure. So, we'll get into that discussion later, unless you want to get into it now. It doesn't matter.
No, it's fine. You kind of drive, because like I told you, I'm a little out of tune with what's happening back home. I was able to on Saturday, and this is kind of weird for me. For one thing, I changed chairs, because the one chair that I have that is like the desk chair, and I guess I can move this around. I didn't want to have this sit in this chair. Look, I've kind of got the like when you're on trial.
Yeah,
that's kind of the microphone I'm using here, but it's like, so the desk chair actually does this. It's real
squeaking.
Yeah. So it's like, people are going to think I'm farting. So I had to move the little recline or love seat, whatever the hell this thing is over here. Cause we didn't need all that, but I was kind of keeping up with you guys back home on Saturday night as I could after the Pennzoil 250. And it looked like some eventful stuff, man. I know you've called a lot of races, but I have to ask you: is there ever a time that you've called a race night and you've called flips, you've called rollovers, and that for a lot of years, but was that the same dude twice?
Same dude twice. I've seen guys gentle roll in a heat race and then gentle roll in a main event. Kind of just ended up on the roof. Seen that once or twice, but I've never seen a dude barrel roll and cartwheel two cars on opposite sides of the track on the same damn night. That's pretty insane. I'm still mad at myself. Halfway through the first flip, I realized the microphone wasn't on, so I flipped it on. Hell. I was calling the whole thing, like you could hear me yelling inside the booth. Oh, here he comes! 1, 2, 3. About by the time I got to flip number 2 is when I realized the mic wasn't on and flipped on the mic for the rest of the flip. And then Dan and I were pretty in sync on the backstretch when he flipped in the main event. When Vince flipped in the main event. So tough old bird. Vince Loudon. Yeah. Didn't you race against Vince Loudon back in the day?
That's what I was going to ask you, if that was him, because I wasn't sure. I thought that was him. He's actually a little bit older than I am. Well, actually, he's a lot older than I am in years. I never got to race with him because he's always been a dirt guy. But yeah, Vince Loudon, it's like that dude. That's taking the licking and keeping on ticking. That's really about the only way I can describe that.
It's
so
rough. The Texana page they put up a TikTok looking video that shows both flips in their entirety. The main event one on the backstretch is full in entirety, and then about 7/8 of it probably on the front stretch because it was right on a restart and they were following the leaders and they got together in the back. But if our friends that the streaming provider of the racetrack were able to get most of the first one. So
how did he? Was it the same car? Did he get a different car? Is that what? And I apologize for my ignorance. Oh, great! Yeah. Here, let me borrow your car. I'm gonna go fucking roll that one too.
There's a guy that he races with that actually has been letting him run his car when the doctor's not racing. And then he brought out his own car for the first time this season, the black number 6, and that's the one that rolled in the heat race. Then he gets back in Dr. David Meredith's car, and then 5 laps into the main event, Barrow rolls that one down the back straightaway. So he's totaled 2 cars the same night. A lot of guys joked online, said they would have packed it up and not started after flipping the first time.
There was a time years ago. I mean, this was probably back around 01. This was right after my kid was born. My real kid was born, to where I had actually gone to our man James Ball. You remember the Candy Man, James Ball? I had gone and I picked up. No, it wasn't from him. I forget where I picked up the car from, but I picked up a. I think it was a Nova. It was a Nova shell, and we had it loaded on the on a trailer, on a flatbed trailer. We were going to drop it off at my uncle's house out in Lytton Springs, and somehow the straps came loose, and the car falls off of the trailer as we're going down a country road, probably going about 65 miles an hour. We high center the trailer, spin out, wreck the truck, do all this, that, and the other. And that's back when I was gung ho, young whippersnapper racer. And we were racing that night. It was on a Saturday when this happened. And Dad's like, well, I think that's kind of so somebody's telling us we don't need to race, whatever. We had another truck. We were going to take the truck. We were going to take the car in another truck and trailer. It was loaded up and ready to go to Thunderhill. And no, despite his good advice, I said, no, let's go race. Well, we went to race and I fucking wiped that car out too. So it's I kind of feel the little bit of pain right there. But that's award worthy right there. That might be, if we do this Revved Up award thing, Vince Loudon might need an award, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was rough. And he walked out of both, had a pretty good knot on his head from hitting the crossbar, the driver's side crossbar. But I mean, the first one, he was animated when he got out of the first one. And kudos to Justin Johnson, who was involved in the first wreck. As soon as he saw Vince spin off that nose, it was just none of it was nefarious. None of it was out of the realms of a racing deal.
None of it was what? What'd you say?
Nefarious? Is that the big word for today?
I think it is. I don't have a belt.
Nothing's bad. I mean, depending on who you ask, obviously he may feel differently, but from my picture, both incidents were racing incidents. But he, when Johnson saw him flip off his nose, Johnson was unbuckling before the car was even stopped to run over and check on him. And the guy that surprised me the most was Cord Beard. I'd never seen Cord run that fast, and I don't know where the hell he came from, but that dude's tall. He got some long legs, and he was getting it from turn 4 all the way down to turn 1.
That dude's worried about insurance. He's like, I'm going to go make sure that dude's all right. Yeah. I'm going to make sure he's okay. Yeah. Speaking of situation like that, I mean, what I did see this past weekend over at Mobile International Speedway, it looked like they had a pretty scary incident back there on the backstretch. A young girl, I believe it was, suffering some injuries after an incident in the crown stock. Mobile there on the backstretch had, and I say had in the past tense because I saw today that Eddie Schumacher or Maker is already
Concrete's up already. Concrete barriers.
Yeah. Let's get them concrete barriers before the adjuster comes in. No, I'm just kidding. But this is probably a good time for us to use the PSA that we talk about all the time. I know as a race announcer, you're always telling people, because kind of first instinct for people when something happens, it's like, I'm going to run to the fence. I want to see what's happening up close. It's the same thing, especially when you're at one of these racetracks where you have the pits inside of the track, to where it's like you need to know what's going on all the time. I mean, it's okay to have a little conversation or whatever, but you get and not that this is what happened there at Mobile, but it's like, check your phone later. Check your phone when there's not anything going on.
Got to be self-aware there at the racetrack. So
it happens so fast. And that's the thing that I remember, from the days at San Antonio, to where it's like you always had to know what's going on, because all that stuff happening. And there was a time in San Antonio once where a guy lost a tire, and we were sitting in the back of my dad's truck watching the races on the backstretch, and thing came off and it was heading right for us. And thank goodness it hit the cab of the truck. It didn't hit us. So it's that's some scary stuff right there, man. But that looked like quite the incident going on there at Texana.
So don't you have Texana news, or are you saving that for next week?
Yeah. Let's wait on that. Let's kind of wait on that.
I found out. I got text about it and asked how we were going to do that. I don't know.
Okay.
We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah. It's like, who are you talking about? I don't even know who that guy is. I haven't seen him in so long. But we'll work on all that. Let me get home at some point, and we'll figure that stuff out. On the South Texas side, it looked. I did catch some of the show last week with you and Sean. Great job as always, and thanks to Sugar Sean. We will have the Sugar Sean Folsom photo of the week as I get it loaded here before we do that. But
it's in there, right?
I do want to ask you.
Is it on the backside? I put it in there, right?
I don't know if it's in there, but I just downloaded it.
I'm
gonna pop it in there. Oh shit! Okay, sorry, my bad. So the South Texas Race Ranch situation, I don't know how deeply you guys went into that, but I really think that's something, and it's another one of those situations. We've all been through it so many times down there, to where when something goes wrong, everybody wants to rally, to where it's like, and I know that Stefan is telling people what's going on, and obviously attendance is super important. Car count is super important right now, but this is where I go back to where things happen for a reason, to where it's like, if you're going to show up and show out and do all the different cliches that we like to use for the balance of 2026, that's great. Is that going to save the track? I mean, I don't know, but this needs to happen all the time, because this is why you get in these predicaments to where, I mean, obviously any racetrack, I mean, dirt track, asphalt track, the land value is going to increase, and it's going to be much more, damn near anything else is going to profit. I mean, you can put a gas station, you could put a strip club, you can put just anything there, and that land value is just, a racetrack's not going to be conducive to that. So I think what I hope happens, obviously, with the race ranch, is that it stays a racetrack, number one. But number two, this outpouring of people, and I'm not talking about the people running the track, this outpouring of people that are, we don't want to lose our racetrack. Okay, this is scary. You need to keep this going, not for 6 months, not for 12 months, not for 20 months, for the duration of that place being a racetrack.
I mean, they needed to have been rallying before that. I know they faced challenges and stuff like that. The one thing, and I mentioned it last week, and I'll say it again, I appreciated the transparency in which both the promoter and the track owner, landowner, had in the whole situation. Because I think it was, I think when they made that first post, it said, "Hey, is the track for sale?" Yes, it's always been for sale. That right there raised the red flag for me that it was going to get sold, because they admitted that the track was for sale. That right there, you're like, okay, they don't tell you that for no reason at all. Somebody's made an offer. Now, whether or not the offer is going to get approved or the offer is going to do whatever, you don't openly admit that, yes, it's for sale. I mean, and the unwritten rule, as you said earlier, everything's for sale for the right price. Everything from clothing to automobiles to, you was in the real estate business, everything's for sale for the right price. And I think that's when that offer came through, and that's when they mentioned it was for sale. But the transparency was still there, and I still appreciate that.
Hmm. And the other part about that is Bill, Bill Dunker is a racer. I don't know how many people actually know that. I mean, I think the Corpus people do know that. So that's a situation to where, I mean, that I don't know if he's still racing there, to be honest with you. I haven't really looked at a lot of the recaps or nothing, or anything. But the track has been for sale because we had the same situation a few years back with Owen, when Owen was kind of spearheading all the effort right there and kind of really turned it around and rebranded it the Race Ranch and all that, to where that came about. That the track has been for sale. Cotton Bowl Speedway is for sale right now because it's, every year, Bobby, we go through where somebody goes in and finds that listing and they post it up there like it's some kind of big news. And I mean, that's nothing. That was since 2017. That place has come along. I mean, I think we're all lucky in the sense that for Cotton Bowl, nobody's come along and really decided, hey, I think I want to do something there. In my opinion, that track has survived. Obviously, the track's got great leadership right now. The car counts, all that we talk about all the time, are great. But being the location that it's in, it's like, okay, what can you do there? But I think something that people need to think about, and I don't think it's quite as essential to the Cotton Bowl people, is you just had a Whataburger and a truck stop that opened up down the road. So it's coming. It's coming. We've seen it. Remember with Kyle, when we all raced at Kyle, there wasn't shit over there. There was nothing there. And now you drive by and it's like, so you have no inclination that there was anything there. Exactly. I mean, I remember like your house was kind of like a cut through that we would do coming in the back way, and then on the way home, I mean, I may have stopped and taken a piss on your lot at some point because that was kind of our little cut through.
As the old 2-lane country road that ain't a 2-lane country road no more.
Right. And I think that's where the Race Ranch, South Texas Speedway, whatever you want to call it, it kind of sits in that spot right there. I mean, there are different things that are happening there, but still Corpus, now that they don't quite have the scare of losing all the water, in the city, you just have to keep that in mind, that if somebody comes along and they have that idea there to where it's like, okay, I want this to be a strip mall. I think Walcott's strip club. I'm sorry, I meant strip mall. I want this to be I want this to be a strip mall. I want this to be a hell strip club. I mean, whatever. If they have that
Speedway strip club, I mean, it rhymes.
Hey, I mean, if it stays a racetrack, put a strip club in the corner over there. The place has a bar. What else? What else do you need? Make it a full entertainment facility, as it would be called. But yeah, I just hope. I mean, the call to action is there, but we've seen a lot of call to actions over the years. I just hope that place stays functioning, because the thought to me of Corpus Christi without any kind of racetrack is just it's kind of weird. Kind of like San Antonio proper right now, not having anything going on.
It could be a rough go. Could be a rough go ahead for some of the South Texas racers. So we'll see what shakes out. I mean, we'll let y'all know when we know. Sometimes we're privy to information. Sometimes we're not. Just depends on the track and all that, how that goes. Yep. So the one thing we did not mention that we do have a guest scheduled tonight, approximately 18 more minutes out, will be the gentleman that stole the internet and ruled the internet from Saturday night into about Monday afternoon. That gentleman is Kevin Fry. You might know him as the flagman, or a former flagman.
Whoa!
There at the Kennedale Speedway Park. I don't know. We'll ask him what that relationship's like now. From the looks of the videos and comments, it's probably going to be accurate. But before we mention that, we'll let him tell his side of the story about how that had transpired. And he definitely stole the internet. I saw that on Midwest Racing Post. I saw that on a couple of Wisconsin Racing Posts, because Facebook is self-aware. So when I looked up a bunch of stuff for Slinger the last couple of weeks, it kept giving me Wisconsin Racing Association, fan pages and stuff like that. And he was all over the fan pages up there. So he definitely broke social media and the internet the other day. So that was, we're going to have fun talking to one of the best flagmen out there. would be Mr. Kevin Fry. So
Cool conversation.
oh, one of our internet's going out. I don't know if it's mine or yours.
A little stand by. See, carrying you a couple minutes.
Well, actually, as you can guys tell, that Rodney is live from the Hampton Inn in Indy, and as you guys know, with hotel internet, not always the most stable. I'm here at the home base, so my internet's being a little bit more stable. Sounds like a scene from Disclosure Day, that new Steven Spielberg movie that just came out about the aliens. So it looks like the alien invasion is taking place there at Indianapolis, Indiana. So, or Speedway, Indiana, I guess, is where he's going to be at right now. So, um, lots of stuff there, as we can see. He's off screen there trying to work with the gremlins. But we do want to appreciate your thoughts and stuff on the show. We take them live on the various social media platforms that you're watching from. We can see it, and we can add the chats into the the stream. So if you got questions for us, questions for Kevin's, comments for us, comments for Kevin coming up when Kevin comes live, feel free to pop them up there, and we will let somewhat the direction of the show be driven by the comments. And so we'll have that happening coming up there here in about I guess about 10 minutes now. 15 minutes out now from when Kevin's coming on. So lots of good stuff. If you didn't get a chance to actually see it, for those that didn't know, I don't know if Rodney's internet's still frozen. I think it is. I see myself yapping. So one of the things that we did, if you weren't familiar with the program last week, is that us at the Revved Sports Show down at Texana Raceway Park, we teamed up with one of the local liquor distributors down there, and we did a prize for the Fireball. And we do have a picture of a gentleman, Chad Rockefeller is the gentleman that won that when he won the Fireball race. And there it is right there popping up on screen, Chad Rockefeller. There you see on the right front fender, you see the trophy, and then you see the big, gigantic fire keg. And that thing is big. That thing is heavy. And so that was Chad Rockefeller as the winner of the Fireball Spectacular 2 down there at Texana, there in Tejas Victory Lane. So, all right, partner, you back?
Yeah. Did he take a shot?
No, he didn't. He was shocked. He was like he had a few more friends afterwards. Because they were all wanting to take a shot. Yeah. So
yeah, well, that's good. I saw the kiddo right there with him, so probably not a good idea that right there in Tejas Victory Lane. So yeah, that was really cool, and that was Bobby put that all together. I know they were posting Bobby and Rodney. I didn't do shit. So nice job right there, and that's cool stuff right there, and it's really fun to kind of do cool stuff like that, and it just kind of tied right in there to the Fireball. I mean, obviously when you have a liquor store, a liquor distributor, whatever you want to call it, that's kind of a part of it. It just kind of makes sense, right? So yeah, that was really cool.
That was the idea.
Really cool.
Yeah, that was the idea. Working with Mark Wright down at Longhorn Liquor there in Hallettsville, Texas. Hallettsville, a little tiny little town outside of Shiner. So if you're familiar with Shiner beer, it's right down the road from where they make every single drop of Shiner beer is made right there in the little itty bitty booming metropolis of Shiner, Texas.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because it's something that I kind of wanted to talk about, to where I really think that, and this is where when we, again, back to the conversation about racetracks closing and so forth, with I mean, obviously the factory stocks being the dominating class and so forth across the region, I guess you could say. I know we've mentioned it before, but it really seems like time and time again that you're really watching like the Fireball, and again to Ray and Mike and those folks down in Pleasanton that really that's their idea. I mean that's their concept. We've had that conversation here before. but it really looks like kind of, I really like that class has kind of found itself, that and like the hobby class, the hobby stocks there at TRP, to where it's like Central to South Texas has done a really good job to where they've kind of found their niche that we talk about, or their niche, whatever you want to call it, to where, I know when with the big factory stock race, I mean, those are really hard to align. I know you guys tried to do a big race, and there was something going on elsewhere, and so forth. Those are always so hard, but you've kind of, South to Central Texas has kind of found their class. I think it seems like where maybe you make a run, you make a push with the tuners and with something like that. Because I know a lot of when I look at a Fireball race, I mean, I see cars that maybe were factory stocks at one point, or were hobby stocks at one point at Corpus, and have kind of moved themselves over to be a part of that. And I think that maybe that can be the brand that kind of takes South Central Texas to a new level. But of course, with all the stuff going on, Texana may be the place. So it's going to be a real interesting off season here as to what shakes out down there.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting off season. Luckily, I'm privy to some information, but can't say most of it. But
oh, come on, tell us. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll have a lot of. Well, there's it's all in the works. It's all in the works.
Yeah.
So it will be a challenge. Obviously, the ecosystem is crowded, right? You don't want you don't it's the scheduling is hard down in Central and South Texas. The biggest thing, and I'll say it now, is that the tracks are all within a couple of hours of each other, right? We talk about that all the time, and I say this under my own free will, not of anybody direction there at TRP. But what I don't want to see happen is the unfortunate closure of the two other tracks, right? If everything doesn't shake out the way it should, and both the Race Ranch and 37 are closed for the 2027 season, what I want to see is racers try to make that 2-hour drive down to Edna, not being selfish, not being that, just because for the love of racing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid what we're going to see is what we see every time a track closes down. People would rather just leave their car on jack stands, covered up in a garage or laying in a field, and bitch about a track not being open near them than travel to a racetrack and race. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen to a lot of the race cars and there in the South Central Texas region if something unfortunately does happen for the 2027 season for both those other tracks. That's what I'm worried about. But I can't worry about that because I have to worry about, the season at hand here to end 2026.
Yeah, and that's where I think this will be, and again, I guess we'll call this hypothetical hump day or something if we want to. But I mean, let's just say, like you're saying there, when we started losing pavement racing, it was the gradual movement over to where folks had or went to dirt and so forth. And I think it was kind of a luxury because the San Antonio guys had a home, that they found there in Pleasanton, and the Kyle CS THR, whatever you want to call them, they migrated over and they had their place, with Cotton Bowl. But this is really to where, I mean, what happens next? I mean, there's one logical answer, and I would hope, like what you're talking about, especially because that's the one that I remember when it started falling off the map down there, is that it was like the folks moved to dirt and they're like, oh, we don't know why we hadn't done this before. This is so great. It's less expensive. You don't tear shit up. You ain't got to be there all. I mean, I retrospect, I look at the things I just said and I'm like, But anyway, regardless, South Texas may end up with one place, and it's very south. Well, this again, Cotton Bowl, everything when we talk about South Texas, Cotton Bowl is like out of the equation because it's like some tribe over there. They're going to be fine regardless. But all of that in South Texas, if you don't have it, and I think the thing about it, in my opinion, whatever Bobby says is his opinion. Whatever I say is my opinion. So if I say something, don't be talking about Bobby because that's what I think, and vice versa. But if that happens to where you're down to one, you're going to have a really, really nice place where a dude and a lot of people have invested a lot of money, number one, resources and time to make that place damn near. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about that place is beautiful. I hope there's over there if, and that's a big if, things don't work out. Again, oh, there we go. I got you back.
I don't know how much people heard. I don't know how much people heard of that. With your internet cutting out over there at the hotel, but it was kind of a good take. What bits and pieces I was able to make out of it, but I mean that's the case though, and we'll worry about that as we get closer to 2027 and see what shakes out. So, we're just we course of the last 10 years, we are definitely invested in the prosperity of racing across the board down here in the great state of Texas. So lots of good stuff happening there. Did you want to run to a break before Kevin gets here, or what do you want to do?
Hang on 1 second here. I'm going to do.
All right, Rodney's picture froze again, so gotta love technology. Gotta love it. Of course, it happened to me when I was in Vegas at the hotel last year. The casino didn't have very good solid Wi-Fi, and neither did my hotspot or my phone. I'll tell you what, let's go to a quick, while Rodney works on his internet, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we will come back and we will talk to our man, Kevin Fry, coming up here on the other side of the break, coming up here on a Wednesday hump day edition of the Revved Up Sports Show. This is out of Texas, and this is the Revved Up Sports Show.
Why is branded apparel so important for your company? Well, because a shirt or even a hat that has your brand on it gets worn to grocery stores, baseball games, or even family reunions. The impressions are endless and they last years. Contact us today so we can help elevate your company.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
All right, back here live on a Wednesday edition of the Revved Up Sports Show. Showtime Bobby Chaffee. Hoping to get hooked back up with the Iceman Rodney Rodriguez coming up here in just a little bit. As we said, he is stuck there in Indy with wonderful hotel Wi-Fi. But as we get ready to move on with the show, I'm going to pause about 5 seconds here while I double check something, make sure that we're back still live streaming the show. And indeed we are. We're going to bring in somebody that has, as we mentioned before, ruled the internet the last couple of days. And that man is Kevin Fry. We now are joined live by Mr. Kevin Fry. Kevin, my man, how does it feel to be so damn famous over the course of the last 72 or so hours, man?
Well, it's kind of overwhelming, actually. It's crazy. Friend request upon friend request upon friend request. It's just, it's pretty cool. It's just, it's not the way I really wanted to, become famous or whatever you want to call it. Internet, broke the internet, whatever. But you know, y'all all seen the video of it, so it's just here I am.
Well, before we get into that, let's talk about you. Obviously, I've got the opportunity to work with you before, and as I've told you before, one of my favorite flagmen, one of
Mhm.
the best flagman in the country of all.
Thank you.
And
I
so
appreciate
talk
that.
about your background. How did you get into flagging, and then how did you end up? Were you always down here, or did you end up moving to Texas, or always from Texas? How did you get started doing the flagman thing? Because it's not a job for everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. No, I've always been in Texas. I started basically at Cowtown doing the go karts. One day, I don't remember who asked me to come in and fill in because the original flagman was sick or something like that. I can't remember the whole story, but I filled in, and it just took off from there. I fell in love with it, and since obviously I can't race big cars, I mean I can, but I don't choose to. I stick with the ORC race cars and travel that way too as well. But it just all started with Cowtown and at the go karts, and just moved up from there. I did the lineup board at Cowtown for years, and then I had an opportunity to go on the road with the ASCS Lone Star deal, and pretty much did that deal with Mark. Me and him directed it, and I just started flagging from them too as well. So, or at that time, and so yeah, just I love traveling with doing different tracks and just getting the experience to flag different series. And obviously, I went down to where you're at, Texana, Corpus, and all of that down there. I just had a blast flagging at those different tracks because it's just the atmosphere at each and every track is just different, and it's so much fun to do that.
Kevin, so obviously my man, and thank you for jumping on, dude, and thank you for
Yeah, absolutely, man.
when I reached out, you answered, and I'm like, he's either going to tell me yes or no. It's going to be
Right.
pretty easy. So for you, how hard is it to keep up with everything going on at the racetrack? I think on the track, I mean, especially with you guys when it comes to sprint cars and big mods and all of that. I mean, I think a lot of people think that you've got somebody that's up there. I mean, are you physically counting laps? I mean, is there somebody telling you this? I mean, because I remember, back in the day, I mean, the flagman didn't have a headset. I mean, so I would think that the professional flagman, you're aware of everything that's going on up there in that bird cage.
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, I keep track of my laps. The people that do the transponders at each caution, they let me know which one they're at or what lap they're on,
Hmm.
just because of, did they count that lap or did they not count that lap? You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure that we're on the same track of the laps and everything too as well. But yeah, I do keep track of my laps. I do have a little lap counter up there with me. Um, it's very busy, especially once the race progresses a little bit longer, and then there's not so many cautions here and there. So once they get into lap traffic, it's very, very busy.
Yeah.
Keeping track of the leader, keeping track of the lap cars, making sure that they're not in the way. We tell them, hey, lap car, the leaders are coming, things like that. So yeah, it's very busy up there. It may not look like it, but it's very busy.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like announcing, right? Everybody's like, they go up there and see like 5 screens that we have with live timing and scoring and a couple of
Right.
computer monitors and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one thing the one thing I've never done that I don't want to do is learn how to score. I definitely don't want to do that because then
I've
I'd
done
never
that,
have a
and I
weekend
sucked.
off.
I sucked ass on that one. So yeah, I definitely don't want to do that one
Yeah.
again.
And I can't be a flagman because I'm left-handed. I tried it at Central Texas Speedway one night, and I kept slapping myself in the face with the flag because I'm left-handed, and so that was not pleasant. But you know,
Yeah, yeah.
do
It's
you
it's
go to
it's
flagman school, or is that something you kind of just learn watching everybody else? Like, I mean,
Bobby, did you go to announcer school?
I did. I
You
went to
learn on the fly with
I
all
went
this
to
shit.
Tucson
right.
University when I
Exactly.
first started.
Oh, we
Yeah.
fixed you. We fixed all that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just basically learned just watching different types of flagmen. I've always watched Ronnie at Cowtown do his thing up there, basically because I was doing the lineup board, so I was always watching him do his thing up there. Ronnie Good, I've always watched him. I've always watched Chip Graham sometimes at the Chili Bowl, Terry Maddox, all those great guys that's been doing it for a long time, and they're obviously way better than I am. I just like to, basically kind of get the ideas of what they do and what how to make it better. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to make myself better. Obviously I'm human. I make mistakes. Things like that. So the mistakes that I do make, I try to learn and try to coach myself to get better. So I just basically coach myself and teach myself how to do things, just to be more aware of my surroundings at the racetrack as well.
So Fry, with everything that went on this past weekend, and we can talk about details about that here in just a little bit. But I've wondered this for a long time. I mean, a long time, because like I just said, back, when I was a young kid and whatever, I remember sitting there watching a guy up there, and he's doing everything. And I mean, there's no headsets, there's not any of that.
Mhm.
What is the protocol these days? I mean, I know you've got race directors. I know you've got scores. You got a lot of people in your ears.
Yeah.
Uh, who makes the call on what's happening on the track? I have always assumed and thought that it would be you, because
Mhm.
I mean, shit, they're fucking driving right under you. I mean, and you're
Right.
watching all of this. Who
Yeah.
does it vary from track to track or series or whatever? Or is that something that before you take a job, is that something where you're like, look, I want to have these say? How does that work now with your job?
So it is different. Every racetrack is different. Every series that I've been to so far or been into, it has been kind of similar, but kind of different too as well. Um, like the STEM series that I was flagging with when I went to y'all's track down there at Texana and Corpus and oh god, South Texas Race Ranch and all those tracks down there, I-37. The series that we were in with KR Kevin Rogers,
Hmm.
um, me and him would basically bounce things off of each other. Like, hey, did you see that? Or hey, I saw that 100%. Did you see it? We make sure that we both see it at the same time. If one didn't see it, then they just went off to the other person. And then we would
Yeah.
ask, obviously, the track officials, obviously, that's down in the infield, hey, did you see what happened? No, I didn't see it. Or yes, he went out there and took him out or whatever. Then that's what we go off of too. So if we couldn't come to an agreement, though, he would go back and look at the replay that he had in the booth, and then that's what he would go off of, and
Mm.
that's what we would do. Now, certain tracks that I've been to for years, it's either um, you know me and the race director up in the booth, and then if we didn't see it there either, then we rely on to the people that's on the racetrack in turn one and two,
Mm.
or I got one and two and three and four. Um, and then, if we still couldn't come to an agreement on any of that, then we would just put whoever took each other out, whatever, put them to the back.
Hmm.
But if, for instance, like this past weekend, somebody hit somebody under caution, that's an automatic. No matter
It's pretty
where I've
obvious.
been,
Yeah.
nowhere I've been it's been straight cut, black flag, DQ'd, you're done for the night. And that just so happened to be in the feature. I don't know what the end result was. I didn't obviously stick around, but but I don't. I mean, it just kind of frustrates me, because it really doesn't. I mean, I want to protect my integrity. I
Hmm.
want to protect my reputation that I've built over the 27 plus years that I've been doing it. So that's what I got to look at and make sure that I'm still who I am, making the right calls, making the black flag calls, and just, whatever may need to be done. I want to make sure people can still trust me and say, hey, Kevin did the right thing, or Kevin may not have seen it, but we talked about it and we figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So you've already shot the candidate, the elephant in the room. So tell us more about that situation. Was it a decision, like an ultimatum given to your ear? Was it just a decision that you made, or tell us more about that specific situation as much as you want to share. It's an open forum for you, but
Well,
as
like
much
I
as
said,
you want to share.
right. Well, like I've told some other people, with Zach, with Clark After Dark, I've told him. I've talked to him on the phone. I'm not shying away from anything, because it's the truth. I mean, that's all I have to go after, is the truth. So when that incident happened, when he went back down to the infield to talk to him, and then he didn't find him at first. So he got back on the racetrack, got at the end of the tail like you saw in the video, and then I black flagged him again, and that's when he went back into the infield to try to find him. And that's when James came on the radio and said, "I didn't see it. Give him his spot back."
Mm.
I was pretty floored after that. I was like, wow, okay. And so when he said that, he took off, and I black flagged him again. And then he went back down to James and said, I guess, talked to him or whatever. I don't know what was said in between those two people, but I told him then, I said, I'm not going green until he gets off the racetrack.
Mm.
And so I guess he didn't hear me. I don't know, because he is kind of hard of hearing. So, I mean, there was obviously cars around him. He probably didn't hear what I said. So Demetrius came back out, and I black flagged him again for the third time, I think. Whatever. I lost count now. Anyway, he went back down to James, and that's when James came back on the radio and says, "Why are we not giving him his spot back?" And I said, "I'm not giving him a spot back because I black flagged him, and he hit somebody under caution. We've always done that all year long. If somebody hits somebody under caution, he's done. He's black flagged, DQ'd for the night." I said, "Give him his spot back." I said, "I'm not going green until he leaves the track." And then that's when he said, "Who's talking?" And I said, "Me, Kevin Fry, the flag guy." He goes, "Well, hi, I'm James. I'm the promoter." And I said, "Give him the spot back." I said, "James, I'm not going green until he gets off the racetrack." And then that's when he said, "Okay, I guess you need to get out of the flag stand then." So I packed my stuff. You saw the video, threw the deuces, out.
It really seems like in the situation, because as you probably heard, I'm in Indianapolis, so I'm kind of out of tune. But obviously everything's going on, and I see that Fry walks out of the flag stand. I'm like, whatever. And when I kind of went back and did a little bit of the research on it, like you're talking about, a questionable call when you get two cars together, because you're always going to have, I mean, I've heard the radio chatter where people on the opposite side of the racetrack are trying to make a call on stuff, and that gets just so convoluted. But I would think, not speaking for you, feel free to answer as you want, like Bobby says, but this one is so obvious. I mean, anything under caution when you have contact and so forth like that has to be the frustrating part to you, where somebody's trying to override you. I mean, especially in a situation, somebody that didn't see it, for crying out loud, in the first place. I would think that's kind of like a kick in the privates right there when that happens to you.
Mm-hmm. For sure, absolutely. That's why I told you a while ago. It just floored me that when he said that, I was like, okay, well. And I've told the race director a couple months ago that an instance happened, and basically it's the same thing. He overruled me, or overruled us, and we took it. We just said, okay, that's cool. All right. Well, I told the race director, I said, look, if that ever happens again, I'm done. I'm walking out of the flag stand. And obviously, months went by. Cool. No calls have been overturned, things like that. So until last week.
Mm.
So I just you get to a point where you try your best at everything, and you try to make a name for yourself. And when somebody does that and kind of tarnishes that, you kind of get
Mhm.
fed up with it and just you're done. So that's
Yeah.
where I was pretty much at. I mean, I didn't want to leave the flag stand. That's for damn sure. That just about killed me because I respect Jana and Jay because I told them that I would come up there and I would do the flagging and things like that. So it really killed me for getting out of that flag stand when he said, "Okay, we don't need you." So, and I told Jana and Jay that too that night. I said it absolutely killed me because I love what I do. So,
Mhm.
but um, again, me and Jana and Jay are supposed to talk sometime this week and see what we can come up with my future at KSP.
So there's three heads involved in the three-headed dragon. You've got yourself as the flag man, you've got the promoter, and then you've got an actual race director that's up in the tower next to scoring as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So when me and the race director make decisions, we come together on the radio and say, "Hey, did we see that? Did you see that? Yep, I saw it. Same thing. I back you on that. Back you on the call." And same thing with the infield workers too as well. So if like say, I didn't see something and turn 3 and 4, something happened in 3 and 4, he says, yeah, the guy went in there and blew his doors off, you know.
Mhm.
So and then that's when I was like, I have to rely on them just because, there's the ones that saw it. They are the ones that saw it. Where the race director comes in, hey, did you see that? Yep, saw the same thing. I'll back you on that one. We're good. Yep. Or, I didn't see that. We're just going to have to, like, again, put him to the back and because we didn't see it. I mean, we can't come to 100% agreement. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's the nature of the beast. Sometimes, I mean, you're not going to see it. It happens too fast to
Correct.
see everything. I mean, Roddy and I have been there. Been there with the announcing side. You get something to happen. You're calling the action in 1 and 2, and you're looking at 1 and 2, and then they have a big pile up in 3 and 4, and
Right.
you don't know who caused that one because you weren't paying attention to that side, not because you weren't doing your job, but
Correct.
because you were
Yep.
actually working on your real down in 1 and 2. So
Right.
I just now the question that I have, and I'm going to skip ahead from Rodney this time. Who came up with the fiddle? That's what I want to know because I love the green flag fiddle when you play fiddle with the flag sticks.
So I was at the Chili Bowl a couple years ago. Maybe it was, yeah, a couple years ago. I think it was. And I was sitting there just watching the midgets haul ass around that badass place. And
Mhm.
I think it was Terry, I think maybe Chip, one of them two. They were doing that, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to integrate that. And every once in a while, like on big shows or whatever, I want to integrate that. That looks really cool. That I don't know if the fans actually watch it. I mean, I did because obviously I'm a flagman, so I watched them too as well. But and I've gotten a lot of people saying that's really cool that you do that. And I can't thank Chip or Terry enough, doing that, and I just integrated that stuff into my flag and stuff.
Yeah. So here's a good question from a fellow announcer, Milton Hope, over from Cotton Bowl. That first incident right there, was there time? I mean, I know everything happens so fast. Was there time to initiate a conversation between you and James Lopez here to where you were able to say, look, you don't need to make calls, or vice versa. Him tell you, I'm going to make calls. Was there any of that may have happened? I know everything happens so fast, and like we were talking about, everybody has an opinion on stuff. Was there any of that, or has there been any post conversation that I'll add to that to where you guys, I guess you are planning to maybe try to, and threefold, do you even want to go back there? Because I know how proud we get where stuff happens. It's like, I ain't going back. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of, what's the situation at this point, Kevin?
So to answer the first question, I'm gonna say we, just because it was so much going on, him going off and on the track, and just there was a lot of noise going on and just a lot of commotion just in that whole ordeal. Um, it just it never did transpire to a conversation saying, James, I'm making the call. You need to stay out of it. I'm not. I don't. I'm not disrespecting somebody that as a
Mhm.
promoter, as a racetrack. I'm not that person. I'm not going to sit there and disrespect somebody. Okay. I'm not going to tell them, say, well, you need to shut your mouth. I'm. It's my call. I'm doing it. I'm not going to do that. I have the respect. So obviously, I guess the respect thing didn't apply, but whatever. Um, I have the respect to acknowledge what's going on in the situation and be the bigger person and just let it go, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, but I put my foot down and I said, I'm not going green until he gets off the racetrack. I feel like that is a nice way to say, I saw the call, I'm making the call, kind of thing. But I guess people didn't see it that way. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I have to tell you, I think the biggest kind of eye-opening thing for me that I'm getting out of this conversation, because again, the internet is a wonderful thing, but a
Absolutely.
lot of times I mean, everything that you see, this is being spun as Kevin Fry got pissed off and walked out of the birdcage, and that's really not what happened. I mean, you were
Mm-mm.
asked to leave.
Don't get me wrong. I was pissed. Don't get
Oh,
me
I'm
wrong.
sure. I'm
I was
sure.
pissed
I'm not
off.
disputing. I know you. I'm sure you were. Yeah.
So I just, yeah, I mean, I was mad at the situation that transpired. That's basically what I was mad at. No, I wasn't mad, and I just said, throw my shit off the flag stand, and
Yeah.
I'm done. I get it that things happen like that, but there's a point, like I said before, you got to put your foot down. If things keep on happening, the people in the stands, the people in the racetrack, I'm the center point of everybody, basically.
They are all watching you.
That's
Yep.
Yeah.
right.
And so, and I don't want my reputation, like I said before, to be tarnished because of this instance. Or Kevin let that guy go because he's, buddy buddy with him or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to come
Yep.
come up with.
Yep.
And funny, anyway. Let me get back to what I was doing. Anyways, so, so I gotta maintain that, and that's. I know James has a reputation to uphold too as well. Everybody does, obviously, but I work so hard to be who I am as a flagman, to be true, to be honest, and to make fair calls all the way across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. I have best friends in race cars that race every weekend, and they ask me every time, "What happens if I spin out somebody?" Well, I'm gonna black flag you. You do stupid shit, you're gonna get the black flag. It don't matter who you are. Yeah, we're best friends, off the racetrack on iRacing, RC cars, whatever. You get in that race car and you get on that racetrack and I'm flagging, friendship's over. I,
Yep.
I'm I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. You know, I I hate it. If they act stupid, they're gonna get the black flag.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, I
Yep.
got
There was
sidetracked.
So
another question you asked me, but I don't remember what the other
that's all
question was.
right.
There we go.
You answered them all. You answered them all right there.
Got 'em
And
all.
I think that's a that's a big thing, because it really, whatever, and I mean the positions, your position, um, tech man, promoter. I mean, even the announcers. It's
Mhm.
it really is one of those things to where you can have a family member racing out there. You can have your best buddy. You can have your
Mhm.
wife, husband, whatever it is. It's like,
Yep.
I've heard people say, I don't know numbers, I don't know names, whatever. To keep the sport genuine and to keep the sport legit, you have to have blinders on at all times in these jobs, right? Because
Absolutely.
it hurts. I mean, for the conspiracy, there's always conspiracy theories, and like you said, and I
Always.
really think that it is one of those things. And we had the comment right there about where something went wrong here with you guys. then you have that conversation. I know in my days of announcing, whoever I pissed off and would reach out and get on the social media and say whatever, I'd pick up the phone and I'd find a freaking way to get a hold of them. And I'm like, having that conversation, and that's really what it's all about, to keep the sport legit.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it just that's the main goal for me, is to be fair. Like I said, all the way across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. It could be President Trump out there, and he goes out there and dumps Biden or whatever,
Joe Biden.
dumps him. I would actually absolutely cheer for him, absolutely. But
If Joe Biden's on the track, I don't think I want to be close because
but I'm just
that's
you know what I
scary.
mean. It's just
Yeah,
absolutely scary for sure, absolutely. But I would have to black flag him because he's being stupid. So
Yeah.
as much as I don't want to, but I have to.
yeah, it's your job.
And just
Good job.
the other thing that I saw that people have screenshotted and sent to me and asked me if it's true was after the little I don't know what the brake fluid thing or whatever they
Mm-hmm.
posted up or whatever, I don't know. I obviously I can't see inside the car, obviously, but the thing that he posted was I had a 20-year grudge against him. Well, that is news to me because I don't hold grudges. I don't have any grudge with anybody. So I don't know where that came from, but I'm going to squash it. And I don't have any grudge towards Demetrius Carter, the whole family, Austin Carter, Logan. I don't have anybody. I don't know where he drummed that up from, but it's not true.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to squeeze that one in towards the end, but I'm glad you covered
sorry.
that one. No, that's fine. I mean, it got covered. That's all that really mattered in the whole situation. So, so obviously you mentioned you still got to make some conversations and come through and still talk, but, what you have anything else on the horizon if for some reason you no longer go back to KSP, or you're never gonna retire like us, right? Us announcers say we're gonna retire all the time, and well, I'm done here, and then 6 months later you're at another racetrack because that's just how we roll.
Yeah. So like one of the other questions I just remembered, like, because you hit on that just a while ago, is if I was going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't plan on hopping around. That's just not me. I want to be there, till the end. Obviously, I'm not the type of person to jump around. I know it may look like it that I have been, just because, again, favoritism rears its head, and I don't want to be part of it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I've been hopping around, for say, if you want to say that, whatever. But um, I just I'm the type of person, if I like this track, I get great chemistry, great everything, which KSP has. I would love to stay, absolutely. But yes, there is other tracks have reached out to me to bring me aboard. But as of right now, KSP is my number one priority because that's where I started at, and I gave my word to Jana and Jay that I would help them out this year for flagging.
Yeah. Yeah. Last one for me, Fry. And again, thanks for doing this, man. Is there ever a point to where, as the sport evolves and you watch the changes, and a lot of the changes, a lot of good ones. I mean, a lot of good ones, but it seems like the other changes, the bad ones, they're not minuscule. They're big time. They're big time towards the negative. Is there ever a point to where my first thought when I saw this, again, not knowing the full story, was that you're saying, I'm not only done here, I'm done. I mean, I know it's hard to throw almost 30 years away, but are you kind of at that point to where you're like, look, man, I can go do something else? Because that's really something you could do. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to go sit. Is that entering your mind at this point, or is this something that
No,
you
not
really
at
want
all.
to keep on doing? Okay, good.
No, not at all. I mean, I really enjoy RC racing all over Texas, and Oklahoma, obviously. I really enjoy that, but and the flagging deal is kind of a side deal, side hustle kind of thing to help put more parts and fast parts on my RC car. That's basically what I do it for. But I do it genuinely because I love the sport. I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see that in the way I flag, the things I do. It's just it hasn't really crossed my mind at all because I know this electronic flagman, I call it bullshit kind of stuff. Pardon my French, but I hate it. I know
Yeah.
one of the tracks has already done it. That doesn't do anything for the fans because the fans, I every track that I've been to, any fan comes up to me and says, "Man, you put on a great show. I watch you more than the
Yep.
cars." You know,
Yep.
and that says a lot to me for me because I'm like, okay, well, they're actually watching me. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get an electronic flagman up there, push a button to go green, push a button to go yellow, push a button to go checkered or whatever. That's boring.
Takes a
Yeah.
Boring
personality
to
out
me.
of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's boring to me because people call me a showman. I don't call myself that at all, but I love doing what I do. I really, truly do. Like all these race car drivers, I love driving sprint cars or I love driving factory stocks or,
Mhm.
whatever their passion is, you know, I got that too. I got that passion of flagging and making sure I stay humble to myself and I make sure us as a team, wherever I'm at, to make the right calls and make sure that we are, calling them the right calls.
Absolutely.
Well, Kevin, we thank you for the time. Like Rodney said, I'll echo that sentiment.
Absolutely.
I had more than one person message me and said, "Hey, I don't know if you know this Kevin Fry guy, but he'd be really good on your show." And I was like, "Don't worry, we're working on it." So, thanks for coming in, dude.
Absolutely. I
It was
appreciate
fun
y'all
having
reaching
you.
out
We
to me.
appreciate the honesty and the transparency, which is obviously what we like. And you're a hell of a stand-up guy. We appreciate you coming on and look forward to talking to you soon, sometime in the off season. Get caught back up.
Heck yeah, man. I really appreciate y'all reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to speak out about it. Like I said, I hate it. I really do. I truly do. But like I said, you just got to put your foot down at certain points and just
Yeah.
hopefully it ends well, you know? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
hopefully.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Appreciate it, man. I'm sure we'll
absolutely.
catch up soon. Hope to
Yes,
do a
sir.
show with you sometime, my brother.
Heck yeah, man. I'd be more than happy to. Appreciate it.
All right, dude. Yep. Talk to
Thank
you
you,
later,
guys.
bud. You bet. There he goes, Kevin Fry. That and that was why when we had the post out that you would hear the rest of the story because I
That's
mean
right.
everything is spun to where he got mad and left
Yeah, I
and
mean, I
and,
saw
and
plenty of the video.
you
I love the video with Johnny Paycheck says, "Take this job and shove it," but it wasn't his decision. He was asked to leave,
no
and I think
no
that's been the most important revelation of the whole thing is that it was not his decision to leave. He was asked to leave.
And I love what he's talking about right there because racing, we talk about it all the time about how important the entertainment aspect is. And with all of these conversations about, long yellow flags and stuff in cup racing and all these different things, that happens in short track racing as well, whether we want to admit it or not. Obviously, I'm not saying it's flagman's fault. It's other extenuating circumstances. But when you have entertaining things that are going to happen, I've watched that dude up there in that flag stand, and look, you can fixate and watch him do things. I mean, he's a magician up there doing the things that he does. And that, look, one of the most flattering things that I ever heard any racetrack that I've gone to, and this was obviously more in Kyle and then Houston down the road for me, to where it's like, I go to the races specifically to hear you and what you're going to have to say and how you're going to call whatever. Look, that's one of the most flattering things that you can say. Is it egotistical? You damn right it is. But
Absolutely, but we got to
it's
have it in that position.
it's where you've gone in and you've earned that right to have people tell you that, and that's what he's done. And and let me tell you, friends, Kevin Fry ain't back at KRP. That dude's gonna have a job. Or a side hustle, as he said. I mean, that dude could be working tomorrow flagging somewhere if he wanted to. So don't worry about that. I hope that this all works out because KSB, is one of the premier tracks in the country. I mean, you talk to people around the country with dirt tracks, and you mentioned Texas, they're going to talk about North Texas, and that's one of the first ones that Boone's going to come out. And that dude being up there only enhances that show. The show. It's not, what we all talk about. I'm going to go to the races. And that's why I would always say when I was, behind the mic, it's like tonight's show is because it's not just the races. It's not just the races. And the cone guy. You remember the cone guy? We built this cone guy. The cone guy was a celebrity. Isaiah at HMP. That dude, people go to see Isaiah. He's not even on staff. That dude should be paid. So, no. Great conversation. That's that hashtag real race talk we always talk about.
That's right. You don't get that anywhere else but right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So really cool stuff there. We'll get that all chopped up and podcasted. I think I missed the first part of it. I figured out the Wi-Fi thing. I'll tell you after the show what was going on. But that's some real great conversation. So coming up, still more to talk about, Bobby. I'll let you run the commercials this time. I'm not going to start punching buttons because I think that's what happened. Maybe now, after that, we can, as Paul Harvey said, the rest of the story. Now we can hear from our friends at My Race Pass.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
That's right. My Race Pass. Also, Bobby, we're going to talk about our friends at On Demand Shirts. We run a couple of ads right there. The official apparel provider of lots of people, including you and I. Just great stuff. And it looks like they're expanding their brand. I mean, as James Cole talks about in the ads that we talk about, whether it's a corporate setting, a corporate you've got a group of salespeople that you need to send out on the streets to get out there and try to make that bottom dollar for your company, or you're a race team, you're a small race team, you're a large race team. On Demand Shirts, they can set you up just like they have with us. I've been running around Indianapolis wearing a Revved Up shirt and a Dirty Air shirt. Somebody actually walked up to me and said, "Who's Rodney Rodriguez?" I said, "That's actually me." And I think they looked at me like, "Why the hell do you have a shirt?" But anyway, On Demand Shirts, check them out. And
it is okay to wear your own shirt. People ask me that all the time when I wear my own hat from On Demand.
I do it more out of town. Yeah, I do. I
wear my own race hat when I'm at a racetrack. That's just the way I roll. That's right there.
Well, and the thing about On Demand Shirts, if you see a driver with that apparel on, you see whoever it may be. I mean, you pick a driver because so many drivers and other folks get their apparel from there. There's an online store. I mean, you can go in there and you can get hoodies and caps and T-shirts and so forth, and it's all right there. So before we get to the Sugar Sean Folsom photo of the week, I do want to do this because I do it every show, but I'm going to crack that, and I'm going to let you guys take a look at that. Terry Barden, my man. I don't know if at some point you're going to catch this program. I know that you catch us all the time. I know that's a weekly listener. He's been a guest on the show, and I think there's been a little bit of a tough go for our man TB. And Terry, we love you, buddy, and I can't wait to sit around with you and tell all those stories that we tell over and over and over and over. And best wishes to you, man. Again, we love you, and lots of love to Miss Linda and the family. And we'll get through this. We'll get through this, buddy.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I heard about that one just this past week down there in Texana when Jennifer told us. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's a tough one right there. So anyway, hopefully we will hear from our man very very soon. All right, Sugar Sean Folsom photo of the week, Bobby. Let's take a look at it right here. Boom. There we go. And this is a very familiar looking photo. If you know Sean, man, I'm having trouble navigating up here. I'm going to have us covered up. But
That's fine.
Crown
You're good.
Vics. Yeah, the cars are better looking than we are. Photo of the week, of course, you and Sean were over at HMP for the last event. A lot of old memories here for Sean. You know, he got pretty damn good himself right there at the end of Kyle running in these cars. So awesome to see the Crown Vics and Mrs. being behind the wheel is what he was talking about. Captured all the action and the memories from behind the camera. And I don't know if Sugar Sean, does he still have that number 3 sitting around somewhere?
No, he don't have it anymore. Although he knows the guy that he sold it to, who one time told him he could have it back, and he didn't have anywhere to race it. So he's like, "Nah, I'm not. I don't need it." Now he wishes he'd taken it back. He's talking about it, but he hadn't actually jumped the shark yet to go get it back.
Yeah, absolutely. But there you go, right there. They're back, and I know they're a big deal around the country. Hopefully it's going to grow itself out there in Houston. You know that again, that's something that we'll probably watch during the off season as to what path is that going to take. I haven't heard or read anything that leads me to believe that you won't have a 2027 season out there. So hopefully that'll be one of the divisions that grows itself just like the legacies have and the legends. I mean, if you remember just a few years ago, there were no legends, there were no legacies, they were a thing of the past, and they're back and they're brutal. They're kicking ass over there. So hopefully those divisions continue. But I know that one probably pretty special for Sean.
Yeah, actually, the car that my sister sold to Owen has got converted into one of the Crown stocks. It wasn't in that
Oh, has it?
picture. Yeah, and it wasn't
Yeah.
in that picture, but that same car, I got to see it and took some pictures of it and sent it to my sister when I was there a couple of Saturdays ago. So yeah, it is a full blown race car, just like what I wanted to do with it. But Owen took it and turned it into a race car himself.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Rick Raymore says, "Great to see you last time out, Bobby." So yeah, I mean they had so what'd you guys do after? Oh, y'all drove back, didn't you? Y'all didn't.
I got back at 5.
Oh
The
my
goal,
God.
the goal was to leave at 11:15, and we left at 12:45. So,
Yeah.
but I'm back. That is somewhat breaking news. I was going to get into it next week, but I'll get into it now. The next race coming up, whatever the date on that Saturday is, the 18th, 15th, something like that.
Yeah.
The next race there in Houston, I believe that is going to be the 15th. Yes, it is the 15th. I will be back in the saddle there at H&P announcing again. So
Nice.
back may end up going 3 times in a row because I may go down on the 29th as well. It just kind of depends on how that some of that stuff shakes out. But luckily, as we always like to say, support the racetracks, and it's an off weekend for us down at Texana. So I feel like LeBron James taking my talent to Houston Motorsports Park
Boom.
weekend. So
There you go. There you go. Don't go to Philadelphia like he did. That's a long ways. That
he's
is
the
a
first
very
person to leave Bel Air for Philadelphia. The other way, it's always West Philadelphia, born and raised, down to Bel Air. He's the first one to go from Bel Air back to Philadelphia.
chasing championships. Good for him. Whatever. It's one of the things. I mean, it's a different dynamic now in sports with all of that going on. So I don't know what else you may have had in your mind. Kind of my whole thing was getting over here and hopefully being able to jump on here. So that part worked out, and great conversation right there with Kevin. And that's really something to think about. To where, yes, the drivers or whatever, but next time you're at a track, I mean, look at that. I mean, I know that you do have the different personalities and so forth, like we talked about, like the cone guy that year in Houston. I mean, that dude really was the biggest thing. But I mean, you look around and you think of all the pieces that need to work together to make this happen. And I know that kind of in the whole, like we say, ecosystem of racing, to where it can get really hard. And I hate that this situation happened, but at the same time, that's really a question that I've had for a long time. And I told Fry this before we actually even had him on air, to where I've always been curious who makes the ultimate call, and is it a conglomerate of people? Because like I have been at racetracks to where it's like everybody's always chattering, you know, to where it's like you get some people that are on radios at a racetrack, and they're just going on and on and on. Something
Mhm.
happens right in front of them. Something happens right
And
in
then they're
front of them.
silent, dead ass silent.
Right, right. It's like, Bill, how'd you see that? I think, and it's like, no, no, no. In a situation like that, you can't think. You have to be positive. What happened? And it's like, it's like the fire's under your ass here. How are you going to call this? But it I can imagine that gets really hard as
Yeah.
to who makes
Well,
that
I got
that
lucky
call.
that time in Mobile when I got to be the race director there at Mobile that one time. I can't remember the name of my flagman, but he was an experienced flagman. And I told him, I said, look, because I said, the way my driver's meeting was real simple. Like, if you don't, I said, I trust my flagman. If you come out
Yeah,
of the corner side by side and he drops the green flag, go. If he drops that flag, I'm going to support his decision to go. And the same thing, I was like, if you see a caution that I don't, because I haven't done this before, if you want to throw the caution and tell me what it's for, I will back you because I trust your judgment. I think there's got to be a direct correlation between a race director and a flagman because you got to work hand in hand with each other. I told him the same thing about a black flag. If you want to black flag somebody for bumping or doing something stupid, just let me know what you're going to do, and just if you want to ask, be like, hey, I'm going to warn the 3 car for bumping here. I'm like, all right, 10-4.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that's the dynamic. That's an underestimated dynamic of a racetrack. Is the dynamic between your race director and your flagman.
And that communication is key. That was David Corbello that you had over there, and I
Yeah,
mean
David.
that's
There
a
you
guy
go.
that dude has flagged everything, and that's where when you
I
have
love working
somebody
with that
like
guy.
that,
Such a pro,
yeah,
and made me.
yeah,
He gave me everything that I needed as the extra. He told me, he told me after one race, the first main event, he said, "Calm down, you're doing just fine."
yeah,
So
yeah,
he
and
helped me. Him that was great.
that's where you have to lean on that experience right there, because they've damn near seen everything when you have somebody like that, and like Kevin Fry, because it's such a slippery slope with that, because you can get where either one of them, a flagman or a race director, to where it's like, because you get the spin outs and you get yellow flag happy, to where it's like there's some tracks that I see, and for the most part I think that this is more on the race director side, a newer race director, where you kind of get a car that's thinking about spinning out and they're calling for yellow. They're kind of
Mhm.
anticipating that this is going to be whatever, but then you get an experienced flagman that's going to be up there, that's going to really dig their heels in, because you get somebody spins and they're sitting there waiting for the yellow, but if you don't throw the yellow, oh well, shit, it started.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
that electrical start problem. I've mentioned that before behind the
right,
microphone. It's one of
right,
those what's wrong with the car? It's an electrical problem. What do you mean it's
yeah.
electrical? It doesn't start till it sees a yellow light, and then as soon as the yellow light hits, it miraculously fires up.
Yeah, yeah, and that was another Kyle story for me. To where it's like, I think I spun myself out of second or third spot, and I'm sitting down there in the dirt, and I'm like waiting for a yellow, and I think I went about. I probably went about 2 or 3 laps down there waiting for a yellow down on the bottom side, because Donald Mack wasn't going to throw a yellow, or Donald Mack and Bobby Vogel ain't throwing me no yellow flag,
Yeah.
and the course worker comes, the track worker comes over and says, the flag stand said the next time you want to try to draw a yellow, turn the car off, because your pipes are down on the dirt and they know the car's running. So yeah, boom, there you go. So anyway, but
Yeah, well,
yeah, great conversation. Great conversation. No racing on the major side.
that's a
Cup Series
complete
off.
off weekend for the big car. I think the only thing racing is IMSA on Peacock. That's about it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah,
off. F1, all 3 NASCARs, Indy cars off. I mean, it's gonna be
mhm.
a hell of a weekend to get stuff done. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, if I'm gonna go to a birthday party or go to Cotton Bowl. That's what I got to figure out.
This is kind of that weekend on if you're an avid TV viewer, where and you're a dude or a lady, whatever, and you have some stuff that you need to get done. This is where you might want to get it, because coming up right around the corner, you got the NFL Hall of Fame game that's going to be coming up first part of August. I think a week from tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll have that happening. Football's going to crank up. Racing, you're getting all these series running themselves down to finish off their seasons. Short track side, you're going to have big race seasons coming up, asphalt and dirt. So take advantage of this weekend and get your stuff done.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Gonna be a weird weekend without a lot of racing, but as always, if you're not watching it on TV, go support your local racetrack.
Yep, absolutely. One of the two. Shoot, I think that's about it, my man. I think we got it pulled off.
Yeah, somehow, some way, it works this way with the double box. Seeing it
That's
this
right.
way, so yeah, it kind of worked. But at least that's why when I had the idea to run it here, I knew I had at least a little more stable internet than the Wi-Fi at the Hampton Inn over there in Indianapolis.
Well, what I was doing, I actually had. So what was happening is I was the Wi-Fi here was kind of skittish or whatever, and then I went to the phone hotspot, which is much steadier in my opinion with the phone carrier. And what they were doing is they were kind of kicking each other off. So now we know. Now we know because next Wednesday, if we have a Wednesday show, I believe that I will be doing this from Iowa. So yeah, there's that. So hey, test run. We got it figured out.
Got it figured out. Got it figured out.
Yep.
Getting better with the buttons. So
there you go. There you go. All right, friends. That'll put a wrap on it. This is weird to say. I'm Rodney Rodriguez in Indianapolis. Showtime Bobby Chaffee down south in the whole. How's everything over there? I mean, it's like
hot as hell, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Supposed to be a heat index is 107 on Saturday.
I wish you would have been here on Saturday, the day of the O'Reilly race at the Speedway, because that dude, I shit you not, was the most perfect day that you could have for a race. I think we were 81, 82 degrees. You had a breeze. It would gust up to maybe 7 miles per hour, but it just felt so good. Little overcast. It was the most perfect day. It
might have been the most perfect day, but that memo didn't get out to a lot of people on Saturday.
Yeah, I heard that. Yep, absolutely.
It's still a crown jewel. I don't give a shit what Kyle Petty says. It's Indianapolis. To me, I put Indianapolis and COTA in the exact same boat because NASCAR needs to race at both. Because they need to race at COTA and they need to race in Indianapolis.
This was just we just watched the 30th annual Brickyard 400, and people are acting like Indianapolis is brand new to the schedule. Again, everything that's happening here, I talked to people on the inside over here. They said the problem is these cars can't draft. These cars can't do this, that, and the other. It's the same thing. It's a car issue, if you want to call it anything. And so much happens there. I don't care anything that you get to do at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If they allow you to come in, Doug Bowles and them have allowed NASCAR to come in here. You need to take advantage of that. I mean, I was at IRP today. It looks great. I think the O'Reilly race would be better there, but the fact that they get to race at the Speedway, I don't care what they let you do.
They're not putting them back. They're not taking it back to IRP. That's for damn sure.
No,
they're going to stay on the big track.
If they called me like right now and said, "Hey, we will let you come cut the grass in the infield at Indianapolis Motor Speedway," would you be interested? You damn right. I'd go cut the grass there. That it's a privilege to go there, and the Cup Series needs to be there. Good race or bad race, whatever. Because you're right, it is a lot like COTA. It's so weird. I mean, they're just that place is so massive. It's like, is there a race even going on? It is just so big, but you walk in there and it's Lambeau Field.
You walk in there and you know it's special from the time you walk underneath that tunnel, walking straight towards the museum and the gift shop. You're like, this is badass. This is hollow ground. Yeah.
It's Wrigley Field. And let me tell you that place, 1909 is when that thing was built. You walk up in that thing, you can eat off the floor in the pisser at that place.
You can now. You can now. You couldn't 5 or 6 years ago before Roger Penske bought it. You can now. It's turning into a Penske Palace now. But I would like to go back and see it now versus when I saw it 15 years ago.
Oh, dude. It's
after Roger Penske put a bunch of paint and redid a bunch of stuff and all that, I bet it's immaculate now, turning into a Penske, the Roger Penske way, man.
Yeah, and it's from the people that guide you in there to park or whatever. They are just so in tune with what's going on. I mean, it is a very disciplined staff there. Everything. It is. Well, that dude's in the hospitality business too,
Yeah.
so it trickles all the way down. It is truly an experience. Um, and Indy 500 has been on my bucket list for a long time. After this weekend, I'm going to be at the Indy 500 next year if I don't have a conflict. So anyway, beautiful place, and looking forward to IRP coming up. Even though it's Formula Drift, looking forward to checking that out too.
Yeah, well, it'll be different for you. Put something else on the resume.
Yeah, I'll watch it for about 10 minutes and get absorb it and be like, I'm gone. So anyway, yeah, we'll do it again next week, though. We'll do this program, my man. Final thoughts?
No, it's just gonna be hot around here. Got kind of, like I said, I got the weekend off. Don't actually have to go anywhere, but trying to figure out where I'm gonna go,
Yeah.
or what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I'll tell you off the air about the birthday party or running the Cotton Bowl. So
Yeah. All right, friends. Be sure and check out the archives at revvedupsportshow.com. On the YouTube page, everything is there. You can scroll back on the Facebook page as well, and you'll find every program. A big thanks to Kevin Fry. A big thanks to BC. A big thanks to everyone checking in and everyone that checks it out on the replays and the archives. It's hashtag Real Race Talk. From Texas is the base of it. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday right here on the Revved Up Sports Show. Be well, friends.